In this week's vlog, I'm going to be talking about things I've learned running a small handmade business. And I'm just going to warn you, it will be a chatty vlog, and I hope for all of your participation. For those of you new here, my name is Cheryl, and I run an online handmade business out of my she shed that I call the Peace Palace. In this week's vlog, like with my opening, I stated that um, we would be talking about things that I've learned running a handmade business. Sorry, I'm looking at some notes so that I don't forget what I'm talking about. Anyways, I want to touch on some things in this vlog. The first thing I'm going to do after this, I'm going to talk while I run across some pictures I'm going to show you of items I've sold this month on Amazon and Etsy. And then we're going to touch on some things that and then I want to give you the ups and downs of being a creative business owner. And lastly, I want to hear from all of you and give me your input on uh, the things that you do in your journey of being an online or in-person craft fairs, markets seller, and how you deal with certain situations, customers, stress, everything. So stay tuned and let's get started. So while I have these pictures running across the screen, what I'm doing is showing you the items I've sold so far in the month of September. And then I want to talk a little bit on how I become started on online selling, or basically owning my own small business. So I don't even know how many years ago. This has got to be over 30. Uh, Me and one of my friends used to make hair barrettes. They clipped in your hair, and we would put all kinds of designs on them, from balloons that weren't blown up to crayons, you name it. And we did really well, and we would go to a couple a year. And then I started out going with another friend, and she did woodworking, and I did crochet. And basically that's it. I only did crochet. I wasn't into sewing at the time. And we went to quite a few, and then she kind of quit doing the woodworking, and then me and my mom started going, and we would go every year. We would go to a 3 weekend craft fair, and it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday craft fair, and we would do decent. But boy, did that take up a lot of time, and you really had to be set up for it, because it was it was starting the weekend after Thanksgiving and ran 3 weeks after that. So it was busy time. But then they started raising their rates, and it just got to be where we couldn't afford to really pay the rates they raised it to. So that was one start. And then, and I'm going to date myself, I don't know if anybody can remember this, but Yahoo actually had an auction site. And this was probably right around when I got my computer. So it had to be 95, somewhere around there. And I started selling like baby clothes, used clothing and stuff. And trickled in a couple of crocheted items. And then I started making the rag quilt purses. And then I found Etsy. And I remember the first thing I ever sold on there was a rag quilt, and it had little ballerinas on it. It was really cute. I had no idea whatsoever what I was doing, and I listed it on there. Only one item, that's all I put on there, and it sold within like a week. And I guess I missed it and ended up shipping it 2 weeks late. I learned a lot from that right there, because I don't ever recall getting an email. Um, I did not have a cell phone then. I had one of the bag phones, so it's not like now when I get a cell, my phone goes off, makes a cool cash register sound. Love it. And then from there, once I figured out Etsy, I started growing that channel. But in the meantime, I do have 4 kids, and back then Every single one of them was involved in sports. My oldest to my youngest, there's a 12-year gap, and then the two in the middle. So once one got done with sports, then the last one was still going. The last one just got out of sports 2 years ago because she went on to college and played some softball. So I understand the concept of trying to run a business and having kids and sports. I also worked a full-time job at the time. My husband was on second shift, so that pretty well left me with the full load of running kids to sports and games and school functions and stuff. So trying to get serious about selling online was really hard to do when you knew you just didn't have a time. So I dabbled. I dabbled up until 2020 when um, my youngest was old enough. She was off to college. And so, what do you call that? Empty nest syndrome. I needed to keep really busy because it is very strange going from having four kids at home, even down to three, two, and then the last one's out. And it's like, well, what do we do now? What do me and my husband talk about now? And so I really dove in to getting my business off its feet. And I think I joined Amazon Handmade before that. It was 2018 or 2019. And pretty well dabbled in that. The second year I was on there, I did do FBA and did really well, so well that I couldn't keep up and had to stop doing FBA until I could get my bearings with how this actually works. So I do know a bit about being a business owner, and I do know a bit about being handmade and online. Now, everything I feel is changing. Um, Etsy wants you to change your titles. They're giving you suggestions on what to change them to. Amazon is changing categories now where they want you to put your stuff, and they're wanting you to optimize your listings, and half the stuff that they want you to optimize it to doesn't even pertain to your listings. Luckily, I've got four for FBA, which Amazon takes care of that, and I've got uh, eight, I think, for FBM. So I've been going through them and optimizing them. I can't really ever keep up with Amazon. I try my hardest. I pretty well fumble through it. And so far, I've been doing pretty good. So far this month in September, I've sold 20 items on Amazon and 14 on Etsy, which Etsy has taken a huge leap lately. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I finally got my titles right. I do post almost daily on my Facebook group. At least I try to, even if it's something, a joke or something, I try to. Um, I did make a YouTube shorts on showing off some new items that I have made. So I don't know if that's the case, but I will take it. Okay, let's move on to what I want to talk about next. And please forgive me as I did take some notes so I could remember what I wanted to talk about. But running a handmade business, it has been a huge journey. Um, there's lots of things I've learned along the way. And I have discovered, and I just touched base on that, talking about posting on my uh, Facebook page. I feel like if you're consistent with it, more people will show up. I have tried Instagram and I have tried TikTok, and I'm dabbling in like YouTube shorts and stuff. And I just feel like you need to do something. You just can't expect to post it, say on Etsy or Amazon, and then they appear. Now, I'm not talking running ads. If you want to do that, that's up to you. I do remember when I started out on Amazon, I ran ads. They just took more of my money, and I didn't get more sales by running the ads. I've tried it on Etsy and the same thing. I don't run ads on anything. I simply use as much free advertising as I can. I've also learned that not every one of my items that I make that I love is going to sell. I think they're beautiful and nobody else does. Um, and that's okay. You're going to run into that. It's either going to be yours forever, or maybe it'll sell at a craft fair, or you can give it away for a present. I don't know. But you just move on and you just find what sells. There have been a couple of colors that I've sold that the yarn looked really pretty until I made it, and I thought, I'll just go ahead and list it. And it was like, boom, they're selling, and I'm like, these are ugly. I don't like these colors, but just because I don't like them doesn't mean somebody else won't. And then I want to talk about photos. I really have no room talking about photos because I don't. Some of mine are good. Some are looks like my 3-year-old grandson took them, which I think he could actually do better than me. Um, I I'm trying. I'm learning. Like on Amazon, your photos have to have a white background. I have found a free website. It's called BG Background Remover, something like that. And what it does is you can take your picture on anything, upload it to this free website, and they'll just take the whole background out. And then you can pick a color and make it a white background. And that's what Amazon wants. Um, since I list the same items, basically, I list more items on Etsy than I do Amazon. Amazon is about volume. If you list one item, then you need to be able to list the exact same one over and over and over. Where Amazon is, Etsy, I feel is a little more lenient with, you don't really, once you sell out of something that's customized or you're never going to sell again, then that's okay on Etsy. So when I do make a listing, I usually go ahead and do a white background for both Amazon and Etsy. And then there's time management, which I touched base on that a little bit when I was talking about when you've got kids, you work a full-time job, you have a husband, uh, trying to find the time to create, and then getting it listed, and then getting it on your Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, and it's the marketing, and it's all the planning. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes of not only making your product, but it's either going somewhere or buying it, or looking online and trying to find what you want, taking the pictures, getting it listed, trying to come up with a title, a description that captures people's attention. So that right now, because it's just me, I have more time. And so I can do all of this right now. Does it cut into creating? Yes. Do I need the break from creating to do, say, the advertising and the YouTube videos? Yes. Taking that break and doing all of this, I do believe, has helped me with burnout. And I have gone through that a little bit. I touched on that in a video or two ago about the chaos in my she shed, and how I didn't feel like doing anything because of how bad this place looked. So everyone needs to work on time management. And finally, I have realized the value of community over competition. Other makers aren't my rivals, they are my friends and my cheerleaders and source of inspiration. I do watch 3 or 4 different creators. I love watching their videos. They're probably 30 to 40 years younger than me, but I just love seeing them work and package stuff and talk to people. And I do try to interact with them when I can. I watch my YouTube videos on the TV. So, in order for me to be able to leave them a message, I just grab my phone, get on YouTube while I'm watching on TV, and it'll pull up on your phone. It'll pull up what you're watching, and then I leave a comment that way. Um, I feel like we all need to inspire each other and not be jealous of how well someone does. That's like, when you watch other creators and they've got 30,000 followers and they're monetized. And at first I got jealous, but now I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the people who leave comments. I'm thankful for my wonderful subscribers who leave me comments and cheer me on. And I love hearing from people. I love hearing what you're doing. I love that a couple of them have some craft fairs or markets, I'm not sure what you call them, coming up. I can't wait to hear how well you did. I know you're going to do great. I love when someone has a new project I've helped them with. I love when they show me stuff like that. I just love it. And that's what we need to do, cheer each other on. So, the last subject I want to touch on are the ups and downs of being a handmade creator in your late 50s. I know I've probably said it before. I'm 59 years old and I have been crocheting since I was 10. I've been sewing since I was 25 or 30. And I don't know where I was going with that because at this age, then you forget what you're thinking about. Anyways, let's move on. So the ups for me are now I've grown to where my full-time job has now become my part-time job. With the help of selling on Amazon, Etsy, Fair, Whole Goods, eBay, Facebook, and on markets, I saved up enough money to get this shed. So I have paid for it in full with saving up for 2 years. Um, I I also have my freedom to create, to make new designs. I can crochet at my own pace. I can do it from the time I get off work until I feel like going to bed. Um, and it feels amazing. And I wish everyone could do this. My goal is to be able to quit my job altogether and this be it. Now, if I've been crocheting since I was 10 and I'm still doing it, then you know how much I love it. Over the years, I have actually built up my confidence. I feel like I have experience and I know my style, I know my strengths, I know what I can and can't do. And I don't chase all the trends, mostly because I don't know what they are anymore. When I had my kids at home, you always knew the trends, but now that I don't, I have no idea what the trends are, so I don't chase them. Another up for me is connection with others, uh, customers. I connect with quite a few of them, YouTube viewers and my followers. I love you guys. I love connecting with you guys. Um, Facebook people. I think you need to build a relationship around handmade people. It builds your confidence and it helps you communicate better. And I feel like other handmade people understand what you're going through, the struggles and everything. I also love learning new things. I'm a tech geek. I love learning new computer stuff. I love trying to figure out YouTube, Etsy's SEO. I don't really watch a whole lot of YouTube videos on Etsy or Amazon because some of them I know can't be true. On Amazon, they have a university that you can go to, and that is good learning. Um, I feel like the more you keep learning, the more possibly it keeps my brain going. At least I'm hoping even though it doesn't help me remember much stuff. I do have to write down almost everything, which we've touched on that too. I write down everything. I just have to. Now the downs. We just talked on tech and how I love it. But like I said earlier, Etsy changes their ways of listing and I can't figure them all out. Amazon changes their ways and I can't figure them all out. And that gets frustrating. And I always feel like I'm trying to play catch up. YouTube, I don't know if they've changed anything. I just keep doing what I'm doing. And hopefully I'm doing it a little bit right. Another down at my age, which is not old in my opinion, is I don't have as much energy as I used to. Um, I know I sit for my job, my day job, and then when I get home, I also sit. I do try. I'm still trying to do my walking. When it was 100 degrees out, I did not do it. Even inside my shed, I didn't do it because it was just too hot. Um, so I do try to do that to help with the energy, but sometimes my back just doesn't want to cooperate. I can't stand for very long. So even cutting out the t-shirt quilts, that's why I time it, because I can't stand at long amounts of time. And here's a little bit of what I touched on too. A down is comparisons, comparing myself with younger creators, how much energy they have, and the followers, and and how professional their videos look. And then I just have to remind myself that I'm me. And a lot of people may like that I don't edit my videos and make them fancy. I just want to talk to you guys. Another down is trying to balance life. I know I only work part-time now, but there for a while I was having to take my mom almost weekly to the doctor. And now my boss has had some issues and he's been out of work. And so I've been having to work longer hours at my day job. So that's cut in to my crafting. And I've had to learn to pace myself with all of this and not get myself down because I'm not getting everything done that needs to be done, and try to realize that it will get done. I just need to, go at my own pace. But I hope you've made it this far in the vlog. I would like to invite all of you to leave me a comment below and tell me, what do you do to keep yourself up? What are your downs? Do you like communicating with other handmade sellers? Are you around my age and find things difficult to do? Just leave me a comment because I do see the comments. I try to right away get back to them because I enjoy communicating back and forth with y'all. If you're not a creator, I don't care. Leave me a comment. We can chit chat back and forth. I enjoy it. I have time. Thank you again for watching my videos. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Until next week. See ya.